Hi everybody, my name is Brett, and today I'd like to talk to you about the American Rescue Plan of 2021. The SARS-CoV-2 virus, also known as COVID-19, has ripped across the globe, resulting in nearly 3 million deaths, creating the deadliest public health crisis since the beginning of the 20th century. The pandemic has had widespread implications throughout the globe, with the personal and economic fallout within the United States being substantial. Its impact can be seen in just about every facet of the economy and has affected every U.S. citizen's life regardless of socioeconomic status. I have seen firsthand the fallout of the pandemic within San Diego. As my younger siblings have struggled to adapt to the new online learning system, countless businesses have been forced to permanently shutter their doors, and many of my friends have lost their jobs. Today, I will explain how through the newly passed American Rescue Act Plan of 2021, the once grim outlook of the pandemic is being corrected through this landmark recovery package. The bill is very comprehensive, and today I will explain the measures that affect the greatest number of U.S. citizens, those being individual economic support, educational support, and public health support, along with the public's opinion on the most expensive bill to ever be passed into law. COVID-19 first arrived in the U.S. in January of 2020 and was shortly after declared a national emergency in March of 2020. According to the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, the USA's real GDP sharply declined as the lockdowns took hold, reaching a low of -9% as the economy closed down. As more was learned about the virus, the economy began to open its doors, and as of Q4 of 2020, it was able to somewhat rebound. The observed decrease in real GDP can be directly attributed to the high levels of unemployment that were experienced during the early days of the pandemic as businesses closed down and reduced their workforce. Pre-pandemic levels of unemployment were at a 50-year low of 3.5% in February of 2020 and rose to 14.8% at the peak of the pandemic hysteria during April of 2020. Unemployment levels have since rebounded but still have a ways to go. The American Rescue Act Plan of 2021 aims to correct these issues by stimulating the economy in a multitude of ways, such as extending unemployment benefits with qualifying citizens eligible to receive up to $300 a week, granting eligible citizens $1,400 stimulus checks, and extending tax credits to families up to $3,600 per child. The rescue package goes beyond simply putting money into citizens' pockets, allocating relief money for educational support to promote the return to in-person learning. The initial transition to online learning was problematic for most students once the shutdowns began and schools transitioned to a fully online format. I can personally attest to this, as I have 3 younger brothers who are enrolled in the public K-12 system, and I have seen firsthand their struggle to keep up with their work. Based on the average RIT score, or measure of student growth and achievement, McKinsey & Company estimates that the average remote learning experience will result in 3 to 4 months of learning lost if school returned in January of this year, and 7 to 11 months of learning lost if the online learning experience was low quality. As most of you know, the vast majority did not return in January, and the actual average learning losses most likely far exceed these projections. The American Rescue Act Plan of 2021 addresses these issues through the distribution of $168 billion to K-12 and higher education institutions, which will be dedicated to creating the infrastructure and allocation of resources necessary to provide a safe return back to school. While in-person learning should resume this fall, returning to pre-pandemic norms will not be possible without the widespread distribution of vaccines and additional preventative testing. For this reason, the relief package provides about $48 billion nationwide for more testing. Additionally, to support the rollout of COVID vaccines, $7.5 billion have been put towards their distribution, and another $6 billion have been allocated to support the manufacturing, development, and purchase of the vaccines within the supply chain. The rescue package provides widespread financial support to individuals and institutions in need, allowing for life to return to its pre-pandemic norms at a faster rate than it would have otherwise. Despite this, the public's opinion on this record-breaking bill package, totaling $1.9 trillion, is split across socioeconomic lines. According to a poll conducted by the Pew Research Center, the majority of the U.S. public supports the package, with only 28% opposing it and 70% favoring it. However, the support for it incrementally decreases from 82% in low-income households to 60% in upper-income households. Public opinion on the bill further differentiates across political affiliations, with only 6% of Democrats opposing the bill and 57% of Republicans opposing such. Some Republicans have criticized the bill because a large portion of this $1.9 trillion is, in their opinion, being misallocated to issues not directly relating to COVID-19. Republican Senator Mitch McConnell expressed his discontent for the bill, explaining how he believes that this is a wildly expensive proposal largely unrelated to the problem. Regardless of the partisan opposition, the general public consensus on the bill is that it's beneficial, and thus most Americans support it. I hope you now have a better idea of how the American Rescue Act Plan of 2021 addresses the largest issues stemming from the pandemic and how it aims to solve them. To reiterate, it provides individual economic support in the form of tax credits, extended unemployment benefits, and stimulus checks. It provides educational support in the form of billions of dollars to allow institutions to resume in-person learning safely, and it provides public health support in the form of billions of dollars to increase testing and vaccine distribution nationwide. While the record-breaking price of $1.9 trillion has created some controversy, the majority of the public is supportive of the bill aimed to return life back to normal. The pandemic has been a wake-up call for many on the seriousness of a novel airborne virus and will forever leave its mark on the U.S., with over 560,000 citizens dead thus far. With this in mind, we the American people need to ensure that our elected officials act more competently in the future and continue to supply funding to prevent future pandemics well beyond the 2020s. If another more fatal virus is allowed to spread across the U.S., we may find ourselves in a situation so dire that it makes the current pandemic seem like an outbreak of the common cold. Thank you for listening.